man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. Something is true, something but look at that, my God.
This is your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. Back at it with another Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War commentary video for you guys, and this is very interesting. Now, hold up. Before we get things going with this specific topic, y'all know what it is. Y'all can see the title. Now, I was introduced to this pretty much at the same time. Nintendo revealed the OLED version of the Nintendo Switch, which is coming out October 8th. I'm gonna talk about that. Actually, I'm gonna record that after this one, but I'm gonna release that one next week because I feel like, okay, there's a lot of stuff about the system that's fresh in my mind now, so I'm gonna knock this out the way tonight. But I'm gonna release that video next week because this video right here takes top priority because it might be old by the time next week comes around. Whereas with the whole, the alternate version of the Nintendo Switch, that won't be old right away, in my opinion. That might, that might stay relevant for, a few days, whatever the case may be. So there you go with that. But this to me takes top priority. Is a more important issue, in my opinion. And so there you go. So I'm gonna record a Nintendo Switch OLED version tonight, but I'm gonna release it next week. So let's get on with this topic. So the topic that the NBA sports world has been talking about, and that is Rachel Nichols' little secret interview with Adam Mendelsohn, how you pronounce his name, Mendelsohn, how you pronounce his name, who is a spokesman for LeBron James, is out, is out there. So this interview or this conversation, it's not really an interview, it's more of a conversation, was done July 13th last year. So this is almost a year ago. So what you're about to hear now is the conversation, like parts of the conversation between the two individuals. This is going to take about like 3 minutes. So enjoy that, and I'll be right back.
They said to me, hey, instead of hosting the NBA Finals, why don't you do Doris's silent reporter job for the NBA Finals? Because guess what that would clear the way for? For Maria to do the hosting for it. Yeah. So, I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out like how to just, my thing is that I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy one-time record anniversary, which by the way I myself know personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just, find it somewhere else. You're not gonna find it with me. He said to me, I'm exhausted. Me too. I don't know, I'm exhausted. Me too. I'm not ready. I'm thinking about it. 2 in the afternoon, 3 days from now, you're going to have to be a perfect Thursday. Yeah. But that's it. That's the average.
Yeah. And it's like you could frame it almost interestingly, you could actually generate a really interesting conversation about how it's, just so very white male, or that in turn two women with each other to compete over the one spot that they're banging over. That's a broader conversation about all the spots that should be able to
There isn't just one seat at the table for a minority of whichever version this week we're trying to please.
If you think about it, this is precisely the problem we've been talking about for a long time. This is white men. It is an example of one black person or you don't get to have a black woman in a dominant spot and feel like, okay, the hard work is done.
We're done.
And you certainly don't get to say, I mean, you have a right to the middle program, in a critical seat. And now that we're going to put a black woman in that case, the question is, where the other seats that white males are in? That should be under consideration.
Let's talk about Rachel Nichols' part in all this, because that's the biggest story here between the two. So, for those of you who don't know who Rachel Nichols is a female, I guess, reporter for ESPN. So she mostly deal with NBA stuff. So you may see her on certain NBA shows. You may see her like doing the post-game shows, the halftime show, the pre-game show, and things of that nature, and other shows as well. She also interviews some of the players as well, like a LeBron James and Giannis and so forth and whatnot. That's who Rachel Nichols is. Now, Maria Taylor is another woman who does pretty much the same thing. She does the same thing. So there's that. Now, I'm going to bring up one more name into the mix, and her name is Malika Andrews. So what do these three women have in common? So they all work for ESPN. They all pretty much do the same thing. Now, Maria Taylor, she also covers football as well, apparently. I did not know that. I thought she was strictly basketball, but she also covers football as well. And because of the comments that were made last year by Rachel Nichols about Maria Taylor, and apparently there's some beef between the two, both women will not be working the NBA Finals this year. And it would be, or really, it would be Malika Andrews who'll be handling the interviewing sessions, the interviewing portions, the sideline reporter for the NBA Finals this year. And we saw her in action tonight, actually. So the NBA Finals started tonight as I recorded this video. And apparently, I did see this. It was Maria Taylor who was doing, it may be says it correctly. I could be wrong in the name. It might be another black woman, but I could be wrong in the name. I think it was Maria Taylor. She was doing the post-game show, the halftime show, and the pre-game show. So there's that as well. And Rachel Nichols is removed from this scene. She's not a part of the NBA Finals this year. So, and that because the interview was released. Now, she did release a apology on her show with two black men as co-hosts, like sitting in and obviously giving their 2 cents. I didn't listen to see what they had to say, but the fact of the matter is, like, yo, ESPN is split. ESPN is split. So, you know, obviously there's some black ESPN workers who are like, oh, I knew it. That's how they talk about us behind closed doors, blah, blah, blah. But then there's some other black people who are trying to support Rachel Nichols, you know, whether they work for ESPN or apparently unless they're Jimmy Butler. And a lot of stuff been going out about him regarding last year's NBA Finals. So apparently the deal with Jimmy Butler and Rachel Nichols slept together during the finals, which is pretty funny because they mentioned about a whole, oh, he got in trouble for making loud noises involving a quote-unquote basketball in his room when they were in the bubble. So, I mean, I don't know the deal behind that, but that's been going around on Twitter. So, let me give my 2 cents on this whole scenario. So, the one thing I need to point out, for those of you who don't know, is that this is very important. Malika Andrews, who is replacing Rachel Nichols as the sideline reporter for the NBA Finals, she's black. That's the only reason why I mention her, because she replaced Rachel Nichols, you know, because of ESPN or whatever. Maria Taylor, who was mentioned in the conversation that happened a year ago, which led to this whole thing being a scandal, she's black. And Rachel Nichols is white. She's Caucasian. So there you go with that. So let me break down what she said, and then we're going to talk about what this one cat by the name of Adam Mendelsohn, how you pronounce his name, said as well. So Rachel Nichols basically said, yo, she had a problem with ESPN moving her from doing the show to doing the sideline interview in favor of Maria because of the whole Black Lives Matter thing. So remember, a year ago, Black Lives Matter was one of the top 2 leading topics in the world. Number 1 was COVID. So Black Lives Matter was going strong. It was going strong for a long period of time last year. And ESPN, just like the likes of Twitch and whatever other company out there, want to follow those wavelengths, want to follow the trend and say, hey, we should save face and be more appealing towards black people. You know, like, and again, I'm not gonna get into it with Twitch, but that's basically what they was doing last year as well. Even though they did a half-ass job of it, but that's what they were doing nevertheless. So ESPN apparently had the idea of doing the same thing, and instead of having Rachel Nichols host the pregame show, the halftime show, and the postgame show for the NBA Finals, which is one of the biggest sporting events of the year, they wanted to have a black person do it. And in this case, a black woman by the name of Maria Taylor. Now, if this was a scenario done at somebody else's expense, Rachel Nichols would be on board with it because she has said that in the past. She had proven that in the past. Like, yo, you know, this should happen to support this movement, to support this cause, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, she's not with it. Why is she not with it? Because it's happening at her expense. So instead of another colleague from ESPN being removed or quote unquote demoted to another position of the NBA Finals, it's her. It's her. And she had a problem with it. So, and then obviously people are getting mad at Rachel Nichols, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Yeah, they should be mad at her. They should be mad at her. Because they calling her out on it. They calling her out on a lot of that crap. And basically she's a hypocrite. You know, which is one of the people I cannot stand. People who are hypocrites. So, again, if this was happening to anybody else, Rachel Nichols would be cool with it. She would support it. She would get on her little soapbox and make speeches about it, saying why she supported and why it's good and blah, blah, blah. But because this is happening to her, she's not cool with it. You heard her herself. She said, yo, she's not on board. She declined to do the sideline joint for last year NBA Finals. And basically, she didn't even work it because it was happening at her expense, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, I want y'all to put... Now, here's the one thing that people fail to acknowledge on Twitter, that is. I don't know about, you know, those who work within ESPN or those who are in the NBA. I don't know what all they said about it, whatever the case may be. But notice how nobody on Twitter pointed out what she said. She said that she basically accused ESPN of doing a bad job with diversity. Like, they have a crappy reputation when it comes to who gets all the good spots on their shows, whatever the case may be. Apparently, it's mostly white men, as opposed to black men or a woman. Doesn't matter what the race is. So, that's her accusation towards ESPN. Notice how nobody on Twitter is talking about that, though. Now, is that true or not? I had to disagree. Cause I mean, look at Stuart Scott. Yo, like I in my opinion, I believe he was treated like a king. They had a couple of black guys on SportsCenter that I felt were treated like kings, whatever the case may be. Look at Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, last time I checked, is the highest paid ESPN worker. He's the highest paid ESPN personality. Last I checked. So to say, oh, they have a diversity issue, I mean, I don't know about that. Now, diversity towards women, that could be a different story. I don't know. Like, if anybody want to, educate me on that one, I'm all ears. I'm down for that one. Because again, I'm not sure about that one. You know, it's all subjective. But like, if you truly believe, like, hey, ESPN, they have a bad reputation in terms of giving women the opportunity to be on a certain spot. You know, at a high quality spot, a high level spot. Yo, I'm all ears. You can fill me in on that one, because I don't know. But when it comes to diversity in general, which means, oh, all the good spots are going towards the right men, I'm like, no, because I have to name some black men who I believe are doing pretty good within ESPN. So I can't really agree with that statement. So now let's talk about what Adam Mendelsohn said. He basically got sick and tired of the whole Black Lives Matter thing, because, you know, it was basically flaunted all over the place and things of that nature. Now, he's half correct. And it's not in the case of, and here's what I mean by that. I try to find the right words for this one. I want to say I agree with him in terms of the business side, not in terms of the community side. He's wrong about it if he be talking about the community side. Like, yeah, Black Lives does matter. But in terms of the business side, again, I mentioned this already. ESPN. Look what Rachel Nichols said. The only reason why they removed her from the hosting spot and was willing to basically give it to Maria Taylor is because she's black and they're trying to appeal to the whole Black Lives Matter. That's the only reason why they're doing it. It's because of the whole Black Lives Matter thing. This was a year ago. Would they have done that? No. And look, and again, I mentioned Twitch. Twitch was now starting to highlight black people on their front page, starting to promote them on their front page because this was a year ago. So would they be doing that? No. And even with that, they still, again, they didn't get that right. And I think I mentioned that in video past. Like, they will only highlight black women or quote unquote flamboyant men. Like, they didn't really highlight the straight men, like the actual, you know, like the straight up men, black men on their front page. It took them a long time to do that. I'm not even sure they even did that yet at all, but you get the drift. So a lot of these companies are tailored towards black people because of the whole Black Lives Matter thing. So in that case, yeah, I agree with him because these companies are not being genuine. They're not being real. They pretty much being fake and basically trying to kiss our ass so we can support them and give them money. And, you know, it's just a temporary thing like, hey, Black Lives Matter, blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as that died down, it's back to status quo with these companies. So if Adam was talking about that, yeah, I agree with him. But in terms of, yo, we gotta, you know, let people know Black Lives Matter so the cops can stop beating us. The cops can stop killing us. The cops can stop doing this. And, you know, black people need more opportunities, blah, blah, blah. Then Adam's like, nah, you out of line, bro. And a lot of people are calling for LeBron James to fire Adam. We'll see what's up with that. And I watched a YouTube video about this. Somebody else would, you know, had their 2 cents about it, and they played the interview and whatever the case may be. They mentioned Max Kellerman because, and I remember he said this on more than one occasion on First Take, because I watch that show pretty much every day. Max said, like, when it comes to the whole black people issues and things like that, because, you know, that would be a topic all throughout last year. He basically said, yeah, white privilege is a thing. And he said he's not giving it up. And he's being honest about that. So the dude who had the video that I was watching, he said that, pointing that out. Yeah, that is true. Max Kellerman did say he was not going to give his white privileges. But at the same time, the one thing that the dude on YouTube failed to acknowledge, the one thing that dude failed to point out was that Max Kellerman, at the same time he said, I'm not giving up white privilege, he also said that same privilege should go towards black people as well, so it could be an even playing field. That's what Max said. Because I agree with him. If you had like an advantage, if you had some type of privilege, are you really going to give it up, like get rid of it so you could be on even playing field with everybody else? No. How about you elevate everybody else to my level of privilege? That's basically what Max is saying. Like, yo, give everybody the same type of privilege so we can all have an even playing field instead of taking privilege away. So I agree with that notion as well. So my overall thoughts about this is this. I don't know what the future holds for Rachel Nichols. What I think ESPN might try to do is keep her off air until this dies down and hope that people forget about it. But here's the thing that ESPN need to realize. This is the basketball community. The basketball community is closely tied with the NBA 2K community. And that community is ruthless. That community is ruthless. And no community online ever forgets. No one ever forgets. So if you're trying to bring back Rachel Nichols as if nothing happened and everything is fine, people are still going to clown you. People are still going to freshen your memory. And they are going to talk crap about ESPN and basically saying, oh, ESPN, she was telling the truth about ESPN. They were only pampering black people doing the whole Black Lives Matter thing. But after that, it's like they don't care. So that's what I think that ESPN wants to do. But what I think will actually happen at the end is Rachel might get fired. Rachel Nichols might get fired because, again, the people will not forget. They will clown her in ESPN the next time she appears online in some way, shape, or form. They will. Straight up, they will. In terms of Adam, people might forget that because he's not a celebrity. Nobody knew who he was prior to this. So they might forget about that, and they might get off of LeBron James case to fire him. But at the end of the day, it's LeBron James. This is the biggest NBA player in the world, like in terms of fame and celebrity status and all that stuff. He's the biggest. He's number one. And in my opinion, he's the best player in the world until he digressed. But at this point in time, he's the best basketball player in the world. So a lot of eyes gonna be on him as well to fire his spokesman, Adam. We'll see what's up, man. This is crazy. And I'm gonna call it a wrap. And with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New Jack Ass Speak, aka New Stimulate Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.